Hey, Tanner James, DJ TJ. I want to share my story with you guys. A lot of people are asking me, how'd you get started? What's your story? So I want to come to you and share it with you. So I got into DJing when I was in high school. I was always kind of intrigued by it, and I tried to find a job in high school. I tried to find a minimum wage job. I tried to just find any kind of any job I could get, right? Grocery store, movie theater job, any fast food job, right? I put in so many applications. I put in over 55 applications. I put in a ton of applications and I didn't get any callbacks. And I always thought that DJing would be cool. I always just thought it would be cool. I just always thought DJs were cool people. And I thought I've always loved music. I always knew what song was going to be played on the radio by the intro that was played. So, when the radio DJ hits the button, the music starts playing, and they're still talking over it. Well, by the time that the 8-bar intro actually ended and the song started, I knew what song it was going to be, and I always called it out to my friends. Hey, this is this song by this person, and they're like, "What? How'd you know that?" I'm like, "Well, I know." So it's funny that now I look back and I actually got into DJing because I do love music. I think it was meant to be, and I think me not getting a job was actually kind of like a blessing in disguise and an awesome opportunity. So I started off small, right? I started in high school. I didn't have money and I didn't have access to credit. So what that means is I had to start off with pretty much nothing. I started off with a very small amount of money, like $200. And I started small. I started off on a Google Chromebook. Okay, those things are kind of extinct now, but it was not good. It was a Google Chromebook because I didn't have money to buy a Windows laptop. So what I did was I got the Google Chromebook, I put some software on it, and I just started small. I'll try and put a picture up right now because it is funny. My mom, when I started off, my mom came and got a picture of me, and it was really kind of fun, and it's cool to look back at now. At the time, I was probably pretty embarrassed. I'm like, "Mom, stop taking pictures of me. I'm trying to be cool right now. I'm in my bedroom, I'm mixing, I'm trying to be cool." And she's like, "Oh, stop, let me take a picture," But it was cool. So, I started off on a small Chromebook. And I was doing some neighborhood work for somebody down the road. I was helping him pull weeds. And so I started making a little bit of money, and that money then went to buy a new laptop, a bigger, a better, stronger Windows laptop. So what that meant is I could start on Virtual DJ. So once I started on Virtual DJ, I started to get more of the hang of it, and I started kind of figuring it out. What happened was from there, I'm like, you know what? I need a controller. I need to get something. So I started off on the lowest Pioneer thing that you could get, the Pioneer DDJ SB. And that thing was awesome. I actually used it for a long time. I think I used it for over a year and a half. That thing was a trooper. That thing was awesome. And you don't really need the nicest stuff to actually get started. And so I was making money, and I was actually doing a lot of events on this small little thing because, really, that is not what is important, right? You having the music ability to mix music and listen and know what the crowd wants to hear and that kind of stuff, that is more important than your mixing, than your mixer, right? Your gear. So speakers, right? I needed some speakers. And so what I did was I got some iPod docks. I got 2 iPod docks, and I had one on each side of the table. I'll try and put one of those pictures up too, because that's a cool little picture. It's funny to look back, how far you've come over time. And so, I started off on that, and it was awesome. I started off doing some small house parties, and then I got the opportunity to do a large outdoor event at the local drive-in. So before the movies actually started playing, I went out, I played some music. They had some vendors all around, and that was really cool. That was a cool start. That's kind of how I learned, the ins and outs of, okay, what's going on? They like this song. Well, they like this song. They like this song. They won't like that song, that kind of thing. So I started learning the ins and outs of kind of the DJ world and the music world. And then I ended up booking some bigger and better events. I started off with not a big wedding. It was big for me. It was a wedding. It was a super small, low-key wedding looking back, but started off there, and then went and started doing more clubs and Halloween events and Halloween parties, bar mitzvahs, that kind of thing. I mean, I was just out there. I was grinding. I was starting out. I doing everything I possibly can, and that was awesome. Of course, when I was starting out, I wasn't making a ton of money, but the experience is what you need. And so I will never tell somebody to not work for free. I don't think working for free is necessarily a bad thing. Now, working for free, when you actually have some talent and you actually have a lot of experience and that kind of thing, that is where it's bad. But when you're starting out, you need to get out there, and not for the exposure, but for the experience. You need to learn about, what's a good song to play after this song? What isn't a good, that kind of thing. You need to learn all that kind of stuff, and you won't learn that sitting in your bedroom complaining about why people won't take you seriously. So I started growing. I started doing more. I got some lighting, I started just going bigger. And by that time, I started making some money. I came around and started getting some more experience, getting some more exposure, people actually knowing who I was now, getting bigger events. I came around about a year later and had pretty much a full calendar. And they were relatively high paying events. They were not super, super cheap. Which was awesome for me, right? I'm just a high schooler. I'm just trying to make some money. I like this whole DJing thing. And so it was really cool to actually start making money. So what happened was I started doing all these events. I absolutely became in love with it. And I'm like, I need to learn more. So I went out, I started searching. I learned that business side of the industry. I learned business principles and applied it to the DJ industry. And when I started doing that, I started growing more. And once I really took it seriously and I actually started going really hard and in depth into this whole thing, my business exploded. So once I started making some really good money, what good DJs would consider good money, that is when I took it seriously and I actually 4x'd my DJ business in less than 8 months. And that is just when I went all out and I started taking this whole thing seriously. And so during that period, I actually learned what to do. How do you sell your services? How do you grow as a DJ? How do you have perfect performances? How do you run your business? How do you structure your business? What ways can you actually develop more work? What ways can you actually get more leads? And that is where the training program comes in. I put everything that I learned, I put it all together into about 8 hours of content and video content in 5-minute videos. And I want to stream that over to you so that you can watch and you can learn from me. So that's kind of my story. I started off really small. I mean, I think a lot of people think when you find somebody successful that they started off with a ton of money. They started off with the best gear. They started off with the best mentors. Nobody mentored me. Nobody told me anything. Nobody did this. I came in, I started just working and grinding and figuring it out. And that is kind of odd in our society today, right? We're so used to people that just come into success, and that is not how it was for me. And since that isn't how it was for me, I know that even if you are in hard times and you are in bad times, that you can do the exact same thing. I think you can do some awesome stuff. And so I want to help you grow. So that's my story. I want to help you grow. You can check out, I have the podcast, I have all the YouTube videos, I have some ebooks, and then I have the training program. I do private coaching as well so that I can actually go in depth into your business and figure out where you are struggling so that you can grow as a DJ. So if you have any specific questions, go ahead, drop them down below and I will answer you. Thank you for checking out the video. Tanner James, DJ TJ.